Jaime Lozano is a musical theater composer who has been heralded as the next big thing on Broadway by Hamilton's Lin-Manuel Miranda. A native of Monterrey, Mexico, Jaime's album Songs by an Immigrant was released in October of 2020 in conjunction with Hispanic Heritage Month. Here to discuss the album, his career, and his own immigration story is Jaime Lozano. Welcome, Jaime, and thanks for coming on Bradshaw Live. I really appreciate it.
No, hola, Brad. Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited.
Now, let's start by listening to a piece of one of the songs off of your album, the generic immigrant welcome song.
My children will grow up strangers, sharing a different tongue. And even though you will fear them so much, they'll try hard, climb rung by rung. They'll learn fast because they're young.
That was great. So tell me, what is this Song by an Immigrant album about?
You know, as an immigrant myself, I strongly believe that I have to tell my own stories, the stories of my people, the story of my familia, my paisanos, the story of people coming to this country trying to find a better life. So this album is tribute for all these people struggling and working and fighting for that American dream. The album has different songs that I collaborate with different lyricists, with different backgrounds and different performers from all very different music backgrounds.
So every song on the album has a story. What is the story behind the generic immigrant welcome song?
My very own story is the story about getting to this country and not being able to speak the language and not being able to find the flavor in the food because it doesn't have enough spice. So it's a big struggle just getting to this country and not finding the way to fit. So this song is like a statement saying to the gringos that I'm here to stay.
You had said that you collaborated with a lot of different lyricists. You wrote all the music yourself on this album. Do you tell the lyricist your story and then he puts it to your music? How does that collaboration work?
Musical theater is everything about collaboration. When I arrived to this country in 2007 for the first time, I didn't speak any English at all. At that time, I got selected to get into NYU for a master program. And I have to find a way to communicate myself with others with no English. So I need people with the English language so they can help me to tell my stories. I just give them the idea. We do some research, we interview people. We want to be like a very honest with what we're writing. And then I rewrite the melody, they rewrite the lyrics till we have something that we think is clear enough to tell this story.
Now, this is being put out as an album, but is this meant also in some future project to be a musical on Broadway or off Broadway?
This is a concept album that every single song is a single story, but they have like a theme altogether that connect the song. It's not really one story from beginning to end. But a lot of people, when they hear the album, that's the question that they have. Oh, this could be a great musical.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote Hamilton, very well known, he wrote the liner notes for your album. And I just want to read it because it was quite a tribute. A mosaic is made up of different materials of slightly different shapes, sizes, colors. Each piece glitters and shines on its own, but taken together, they create a tapestry that is new. Jaime Lozano has made you a hell of a mosaic. And he ends with, if you're an immigrant in the United States, you have to work 10 times as hard just to reach the ground floor. There is the process of leaving your homeland. There is the journey. There is the dislocation of being in a new world, the culture shock of how that world sees you. Jaime honors that journey and breathes astonishing musical life into it on this album. He's done 10 times the work to bring you this mosaic. Enjoy. Wow, that was one heck of an endorsement by who I guess would be at this point, the most well-known and famous composer on Broadway. What does this endorsement mean to you?
To have the honor that he take the time, and obviously he's crazy busy. I mean, like working on 4 or 5 movies at the same time. So that he took like a few minutes to write those liner notes. I mean, it's an honor. And when I read what he wrote for the album, I was like literally like crying because it was very moving. He listened to the album, and those were the words that he came with. And it was like a sign, okay, I'm in a good path. Lin-Manuel opened a lot of doors for people like myself. And thanks to him is that actually he wrote a beautiful letter for my green card and for my O1 visa back then. So he has been part of my journey in some way. I mean, he's very related and he's very familiar with it.
You said that, a lot of times being an immigrant, you don't feel like you belong. Do you feel like you belong now, or you still feel like an outsider?
My experience has been very good. I mean, I haven't had any racist problem, but sometimes you find people that doesn't help you as they should, or they don't want you to succeed because you're not from this country. And the other day that you just wake up and everything just like magic happened, So every day is different. Some days, yes, I think that I fit. Some days I think that I don't. And this is struggling back and forth. But I have been very lucky and very blessed to find great people during my journey that they have helped me to stay here.
Can you tell me about the song You Gotta Change Your Name?
There's this very well-known Broadway performer. Her name is Mandy Gonzalez. He was performing in Hamilton right before all this. She had this interview, but he was mentioning that at the beginning of her career, her agent and her manager advised her to change her name, Gonzalez, to a more American Caucasian last name, because in other way, she's never gonna be able to work in the industry. I mean, she is Mexican, she is Latina, but she's white. I mean, she doesn't look like the classic cliche Latina that we have. So that has been always like a problem with casting and all those kind of things. But she decided not to do it, okay? When I read the interview, I decided to write a song about it.
Let's listen to a clip of You Gotta Change Your Name.
Back in the day when things were quite different, there was a little girl wanted to sing in musicals more than anything else in the world. So she packed up all her things and moved far away from her folks. Went to hundreds of auditions, some of them no more than jokes. She worked her butt off, she got some callbacks and got to finish songs. Little by little she started sensing something was going wrong. Final callbacks but no bookings, what were the forces unseen? And her agent told her, honey, you gotta change your last name cause you're so in between. Great voice but no choice, you look sort of.
That's excellent. And let's hear a little bit from another song on the album, Hold Tight.
A baby barely more than 1 year old. A father holds her tight within his sweater. He keeps her warm through the wind and cold. He tells his daughter that it will get better. Hold tight, we are almost there.
Wow. So what is the story behind Hold Tight?
Hold Tight is a story about a mother and a father in an immigrant caravan coming from the south, from Central America, going all the way through Mexico. How they are trying to protect their son and their daughter during this caravan. As the title said, like hold tight to each other and hold tight to that dream. I mean, to know what is the reality of this caravan, that it's not like it's not like an army trying to attack another country. It's not like they're trying to invade. It's not, they're just trying to escape from what is a threat for them and just trying to make a better life. Sometimes not even for them, for their families. It's really, really, really hard. As a Mexican in the States, we're not happy with all the immigration laws, and we're not happy because everything takes too long, it is very expensive. But the Mexicans are doing exactly the same to people coming from another countries, just making things hard.
It's hypocritical. And what I love about your project is we don't have enough empathy for people's stories. And what your project does in your songs and in your music, you're giving color and depth, which hopefully will seep into American culture little by little and give everybody a little more empathy for the situations of other people.
Thank you. I think that was the perfect way to describe it.
So you're on an O visa now. You have a pending adjustment, I assume, as an EB1 individual of extraordinary ability. You went for your adjustment interview. You know, we all assume, you know, very shortly you'll get approved and have your green card, but it wasn't as easy to get to where you are at the moment. Can you tell us a little bit about your immigration story?
I never imagined that I could be living in New York City. It wasn't like, that wasn't like my dream. Oh yes, I want to live in New York City and I want to be on Broadway. No. So for some reason, when I was back in Monterrey, I started looking for programs about musical theater. And I found this musical theater composition program at NYU. I came to apply to the program. I let them know that my lack of English, that I didn't speak English, and they told me, no, don't worry about that. We have people that they came from Korea, Italy, I mean, from all over the world. So they gave me a full tuition scholarship to get into NYU, something completely unexpected. So when I got my letter back in Monterrey, and I told my mom, they told me, okay, I don't know what we're gonna do, but you have to go. You have to go there. Even if I have to die, we're gonna make. And actually, my mom passed away when I was here after the few 2 or 3 months that I was here in New York City. The school was always very nice with me. They support me during all the time. I was working and they pay me, blah, blah, blah. And then I got the OPT for 1 year because I went to this program. During that time, I started applying for my O1 visa. At the end, this lawyer wasn't a lawyer. He was just someone like filling all the papers, pretending to be a lawyer, and he had a lawyer friend that he signed everything for him. That I realized that till I get my copy, like my final copy when the visa was denied. But what, his name is not in any paper.
Somebody else's name is on your papers.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you do?
At that time, I had to go to Mexico because my brother was getting married. So I went to Mexico. And when I was coming back, not with my O1, I'm gonna go back with my tourist visa because I have jobs. I was working here legally. And I say, okay, I need to do something to go back. So when I was supposed to come back, I went to the airport. I was getting my flight ticket. And what was my surprise? That I don't know why, I had lost my tourist visa. I couldn't get in a plane. So I had to go to the police department in Mexico to let them know that I lost my visa because I need like a letter from them in order that I could take the letter to the consulate so they can give me a new visa.
So how did you eventually make it back to the United States on an O visa? What happened?
In Mexico for around 4 years. I met my wife now. I met her in Mexico City. We actually came before getting married, we came to New York City. I proposed to her here in New York City in a Broadway theater, on the stage of Broadway theater, where is Hamilton, where it was Hamilton playing right now. And then we came for our honeymoon. I mean, you can say my love for this city. We came for my proposal, and then we came for our honeymoon. So a few days before, when we were supposed to go back, I told my wife, and what if we just stay? And I think we can find a way to make it here. And we decided just to stay from one day to another one. We overstay our tourist visa. And just like magic, people start reaching to me that they knew that I was again in New York. And I have this very good friend who's very important in the Broadway industry, Alex Lackamore. He is the Hamilton's orchestrator and arranger. And he told me, okay, are you able to work here? I'm working on it. Yes, I'm working on it. So right away, after a few weeks that I knew that I was overstaying, I contacted a lawyer to apply again for my O1 visa. I did a change of status. So I didn't leave the country. I was with my...
So even though you had overstayed, he had requested, it would be what's called a nunc-pro-tunc application to put you back into status. It's no fault of your own, and gave an excuse why, and you were able to get back into status.
Yeah. And so I got my O1, and I was for 3 years. It was a nightmare to get, because you have to prove to the USCIS that you have worked for the next 3 years. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. How am I going to prove to them that I have worked for the next 3 years? And more in this industry that is self-employment, really. You're working just by project. It's not that you work for a company. My application was over 600 pages.
Wow. Now, you talked about your wife, Florencia. You got married to her, so she was able to get an O2 and stay with you here. And you have a bonus track on your album, Hecho para Amarte, which in English means I was made to love you. And that is a love letter to your wife. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, to be honest, I think my wife was the reason why we came back to New York City. I don't think that without her, I think that I could be still in Mexico, like teaching in the university or doing something else. So when I met her, this was actually the first song that I wrote to her. And this song was actually, we danced to this song in our wedding. Because I think that's my most important collaboration. I told you before, musical theater is about collaboration, but doing musical theater with your wife, with your family, it's like the pinnacle of a collaboration, being at home and being able to work with her. That's something, actually something the boundaries about husband and wife and composer, singer are very blurry. You never know who you are at the moment, no? But I'm very glad that I found her, and that's one of the reasons because I'm today in this country. And when we decided to stay in January back in 2016, a few weeks later, we realized that we were pregnant. So at the moment was, oh no, we have to go back to Mexico because we're pregnant. How are we gonna do to pay all the? And we decided to stay. And I mean, the health program was very, very, very nice with us. And we were able to have this now 4 years old, beautiful son born here in New York City. And we're a family of artists in New York City, like just struggling every day, but trying to make it.
So let's listen to a clip of Hecho para Amarte.
Tanto recorrer sin encontrar una razón. Hoy aquí a tu lado todo tiene explicación. Que el camino que recorrí me condujo hasta ti. Tanto te busqué que yo pensé que eras ficción y me conformé con verte en mi imaginación.
Now, you're also the arranger, orchestrator, music director for the album from the nonprofit organization Our Evolución Latina, Dare to Go Beyond. What is Our Evolución Latina? And tell us about the album a little bit.
Revolución Latina, or Our Evolución Latina, it's this nonprofit. It was founded by 3 Broadway performers. The main founder and director is Luis Salgado, who is Broadway actor, dancer, choreographer. And he founded this organization with the help of all his Latinx community on Broadway. They do summer camps for kids from all around New York City, and they teach musical theater to them. They do free workshops for young performers. They have been able to do free workshops going to Peru, going to Colombia, going to Mexico. And one of the things that we do back actually in 2010, 2011 was this album that I think actually was like my very first huge, big thing that I did. Because in this album, I was collaborating with Broadway performers from all the Broadway shows, including like people from Disney, people from In the Heights, some very big Broadway names. I have been able not only to work in this album back then, but I have been always like teaching in summer camp or teaching in projects.
Where can people find out more about you and follow you on social media?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter as Jaime Lozano, on Facebook and YouTube as Jaime Lozano Composer. And of course, you can find my music and any single digital platform on Spotify, iTunes.
Tell us what your American dreams are.
To have my show on Broadway and to win a Tony Award, yeah. But as I told you before, my dream is that the thing that I'm doing, telling these stories, could reach as many people as possible. I mean, so other people can relate with these stories and they can learn about us and that they can know that we are here and that we are part of this community and that we are part of this country. So that's my dream.
Well, Jaime Lozano, thank you very much for coming on. You have an amazing career ahead of you. Good luck with everything. Congratulations. And thank you for coming on Bradshaw Live.
Thank you for having me and see you on Broadway soon.